My brother filmed his kids smashing my 12-year-old son's custom drone while my parents laughed. They called it Payback for spoiling him. I didn't yell. I just went home, logged into their smart homes, shut everything down, and made them live without my help, until they finally broke. My name's Martin Hale, I'm 38, and I work as a cybersecurity consultant. That's a fancy way of saying I spend most of my time behind screens, keeping networks from falling apart. I live a quiet life in a small 2-bedroom house just outside of town with my son, Steven, who's 12. It's been just the two of us since his mom left when he was little. No drama there, just one of those things that stop working no matter how much effort you put in. I don't talk much to people outside work. Most days are simple. Wake up, check client systems, drink terrible coffee, cook something halfway edible, then hang out with Steven. That's my routine. Peaceful, predictable. He's a lot like me at his age. Quiet, always tinkering with something. He likes computers, robots, drones, anything with wires or motors. The kid's smart. Smarter than I was at 12 for sure. A few months back, Steven asked me if we could build a drone together. Not buy one, but actually build it. Pick the parts, program it, make it fly from scratch. I hadn't seen him that excited about anything in a long time, so I said yes. I figured it would be good for both of us. Him to learn, me to actually do something meaningful that isn't for a client who forgets my name 5 minutes after paying me. We called it Echo. It started small, just sketches and a list of parts. We spent weekends going through online forums, watching build guides, comparing motor sizes and flight controllers. Every paycheck, I'd buy a piece or two. Motors, frame, propellers, camera module, microcontroller. Steven would come home from school and go straight to my office. We'd solder, code, test, fail, fix, and do it again. I taught him the basics: voltage, current, how to ground things, how to not fry a board. He picked it up fast. I'd catch him reading about sensors and machine learning instead of playing games. Some nights we'd stay up until 1 or 2, the workbench covered in wires, tiny screws, and empty soda cans. Steven's eyes would light up every time something actually worked. The motors spinning, the controller connecting, the LED blinking the right color. He'd say things like, "Dad, this is actually working," and I'd just smile. I didn't tell him, but those moments were the only times in years I felt genuinely proud of something. Outside of our little bubble, I don't have much family support. My younger brother Liam, he's 35, was always the loud, confident one, the type who could talk his way into anything and out of everything. He works in sales, or maybe used to, depending on the week. He's always chasing something: crypto, flipping cars, new side hustles that somehow always crash and burn. My parents, Elaine and Frank, never saw any of that as a problem. To them, Liam's a dreamer. Meanwhile, I was steady, which is their polite word for boring. When I was paying rent at 16 and fixing neighbors' computers for cash, Liam was out wrecking cars and laughing about it. Somehow, I was still the one who got lectures about responsibility. That dynamic never really changed. I ended up being the family tech guy, the guy who installs their routers, pays their bills when times are tough, and fixes their mistakes while they act like it's no big deal. They call, I help. That's the routine. But in this house, things are different. Here, I don't fix other people's messes, I build. And for once, I was building something that mattered. By late spring, we had every piece of Echo ready. The frame was carbon fiber, lightweight but sturdy, 4 brushless motors, a 1080p camera, custom flight software that Steven and I coded together. We even programmed a basic AI system, so it could recognize objects and stabilize itself. We set it up in the backyard that Saturday morning. Steven had barely slept the night before. I told him to stand back, just in case it didn't go as planned. I flipped the switch, and for a second, nothing happened. Then the rotors spun up with that high-pitched whine. The drone lifted, wobbling a little, then steadied itself in the air. Steven yelled so loud the neighbor's dog started barking. He ran around the yard while I guided it in small circles. The thing actually worked. I landed it carefully on the grass, and Steven just stood there staring at it, grinning like it was the coolest thing in the world. He said, "Dad, we did it," and hugged me before I could even say anything back. I'm not a big emotional guy, but that one hit different. I just patted his shoulder and said, "Told you we'd make it fly." That day stuck with me. It wasn't about the drone. It was about seeing my kid feel proud of something he built with his own hands. For once, I wasn't the guy fixing other people's problems. I was the dad who helped his son create something amazing. Steven spent the rest of that weekend tweaking the code, fine-tuning the motors, and naming all the test flights. Echo 1, Echo 2, Echo Beta. He even started designing a custom shell to protect the core parts. Every night before bed, he'd say, "Can we work on Echo tomorrow?" And every time I said yes. For a while, it felt like maybe life had finally leveled out. Work was stable, the bills were paid, and my son was happy. I didn't know it then, but that was the last peaceful stretch we'd have for a long time. Because in my family, peace never lasts. And Liam always finds a way to ruin a good thing. Yaktro. My family has always had a habit of showing up uninvited and leaving chaos behind. My brother Liam is the best at it. He's 35, smooth-talking, overconfident, and allergic to responsibility. He could sell air if it meant attention. I'm the older one, but somehow I'm always the one fixing his mess. Liam thinks I live a boring life because I don't chase money schemes or post fake success online. He calls me Mr. Steady. I call him when I need a reminder of what not to be. He's the kind of guy who'll brag about being self-made while using your Netflix login. Growing up, Liam was the favorite. Our mom, Elaine, called him free-spirited. Dad, Frank, just called him a handful and stayed out of it. When I got straight A's, Mom would say, "You should help your brother study." When Liam crashed his car, she said, "At least he's okay." That's how it always was. Liam breaks, I fix. They praise him. Now that we're older, nothing's changed. I've bailed him out of debt more times than I can count. He once called me at midnight because his Wi-Fi wasn't working, and he had a client presentation. I logged into his router remotely, fixed it, and he didn't even say thanks. Just, knew you'd handle it, bro. Last year I upgraded all their smart systems. New routers, thermostats, security cameras, everything under my management account. Liam paid for none of it. He later told our parents he set it all up, and they believed him. I just laughed. You either learn to stop expecting fairness, or you drown in it. That Thursday, I got a text from Liam. Coming by Saturday. The boys want to see that flying thing Steven made. No question mark, just a statement. That's how he operates. Assumes yes. I stared at the screen for a bit. I didn't want his kids anywhere near Echo. Steven's drone wasn't a toy. It was something we built together piece by piece. But Steven saw the message and got excited. They want to see it? Really? His voice had that hopeful tone only kids have. I didn't have the heart to tell him no. I texted back, "Sure, noon's fine." Saturday came. At exactly 12:05, Liam's silver SUV rolled up like it owned the driveway. Loud music shook the windows. His twin boys, Colt and Nash, jumped out before the engine even shut off. They ran straight into the yard, yelling like they'd been released from a cage. His wife, Brooke, stayed in the passenger seat, scrolling through her phone. 2 minutes later, my parents arrived. Mom came in carrying pastries and judgment. "You really should plant something out front," she said, before even saying hello. Dad nodded a lazy greeting and headed straight for the recliner like it was reserved seating. Liam stepped inside, sunglasses still on. "Man, this place hasn't changed since high school," he said, smirking. "You still got that same couch?" "Still holds up," I said. He grinned. "Yeah, practical as always." The twins ran from room to room, bumping into walls, knocking stuff over. Mom called after them. "Careful, boys," in the same tone people use when they don't actually care. Brooke wandered in eventually, barely looked up from her phone and said, "You could use better lighting in here." I poured coffee because that's what hosts do, even for guests you regret inviting. Liam started talking about his business. Every sentence had a brag baked in. "Closed a huge deal last week. Got investors from out of state. Could retire early if I wanted." Mom laughed like she was at a comedy show. Dad nodded every few seconds like a bobblehead. Steven came downstairs holding Echo. "Want to see it fly?" he asked. The twins yelled, "Yes!" before Liam even looked up. We went outside. Steven set it down gently in the grass, powered it up, and stepped back. The rotor spun, lights blinked, and it lifted off smooth and steady. He steered it carefully, just like I taught him. Dad smiled. "That's impressive, Martin. He's got your brain." Liam snorted. "Cute little gadget. Bet it cost you a fortune, huh?" "Just time," I said. "Time is money," he said, grinning. "Some of us don't have that kind of free time." I ignored him. Steven landed Echo perfectly and picked it up, proud. The twins tried grabbing it. "Let us fly it!" "You can't," Steven said. "It's not a toy." "They're fine," Liam said. "Let them try." "No," I said. "They'll break it." He rolled his eyes. "Man, relax. You're so uptight." Steven clutched Echo close. "It's charging time anyway," he said, and ran back inside. Smart kid. We went back in. Mom started criticizing the cabinets. "You could really brighten this kitchen up, Martin." Brooke nodded without looking up. Liam leaned on the counter, smirking. "So, you still doing that computer thing?" he asked. "Cybersecurity consulting," I said. Right. Sitting in front of screens all day. Must be thrilling. Pays the bills." He laughed. "Yeah, but man, you gotta live a little. You're turning into a machine." I just stared at him. Better a machine than a scam artist. He blinked, then laughed it off, like I was joking. When they finally left, the house looked like a storm had passed through. Wrappers on the floor, muddy footprints. One of my speakers knocked over. Steven was still smiling, though. He said, "Uncle Liam liked Echo." I didn't correct him. No point. I cleaned up quietly while he talked. Deep down, I had that heavy feeling again. The one that shows up every time Liam visits. He never leaves without breaking something. I just didn't know yet how bad this one was going to be. The afternoon dragged on, and everyone had moved into the living room. Liam was mid-story, waving his hands like he was giving a TED Talk about his business empire. According to him, he was one big client away from retiring early. Mom, of course, sat on the edge of her seat, nodding and smiling like he was a genius. Dad just gave his quiet grunts of approval every few sentences. I sat there, half listening, half watching the clock. Every story Liam told somehow ended with him saving the day, or closing a deal no one else could. He had that salesman voice that fills every corner of a room, whether you want it to or not. Steven was sitting beside me, polite but restless. After about 10 minutes, he whispered, "I'm gonna go work on Echo." I nodded. "Stay upstairs, buddy." Liam didn't notice him leave. He was too busy bragging about his network expansion. Mom chimed in with, "You always were so driven, Liam. Just like your father." Frank barely looked up from his phone. I didn't say a word. Then came the sound that made every hair on my neck stand up. A loud, heavy crash from upstairs. Metal hitting something solid, followed by a sharp crack and high-pitched laughter. I was off the couch before my brain even caught up. My heart dropped. I knew that sound. I took the stairs 2 at a time. When I reached Steven's room, it looked like a storm had gone through it. Echo was in pieces across the floor. Propellers bent, the mainboard split, wires hanging like torn veins. The camera was smashed. The smell of burnt circuits filled the air. Colt and Nash stood in the middle of the mess, laughing hysterically, each holding their phones, recording it. One of them had a small aluminum bat in his hand, dented near the end. Steven was in the corner by his bed, his face buried in his knees. His shoulders were shaking, no sound coming out, just silent crying. I froze. Everything inside me went quiet. My brain went blank except for the sight of that shattered drone. 3 months of work. All those nights soaring, coding, building with Steven, gone in seconds. Then I heard another sound behind me. More laughter. Liam stood in the doorway, phone out, recording the scene. He had that smug grin on his face. "Man, you should see your face right now," he said, chuckling. Mom hovered behind him, a brittle smile that didn't reach her eyes. Dad stared at the floor and said nothing. Neither of them stepped in. "What did you do?" My voice came out low and flat. Liam shrugged. "Relax, it's just a toy." The boys were having fun. "You spoil Steven way too much. Consider it a little payback." "Payback for what?" I asked. He smiled wider. "For making the rest of us look bad. You build him all this fancy stuff, and my kids start asking why they don't get the same. So yeah, this levels the field a bit." Mom laughed softly. "Oh, come on, Martin. It's not the end of the world. They're kids." Kids with a metal bat," I said. Dad shook his head like I was overreacting. "It's a learning experience for Steven. He'll build another one." Behind them, the twins started pretending to swing the bat again, yelling, "Boom!" and "Headshot." Liam was still recording. "You've got to see this footage later. It's hilarious." I looked at Steven again. He hadn't moved. His small hands were gripping his knees so tight his knuckles were white. The tears just kept falling. "Get out," I said. Liam smirked. "What? Get out." He blinked, laughed like I was joking, and said, "You're seriously mad over a piece of junk?" I took a step toward him. "You need to leave. Now." Mom stepped forward, frowning. "Martin, you're making a scene. Leave," I repeated, louder this time. The twins stopped laughing. Liam's grin faltered. For a moment, he looked like he might say something, but he didn't. He turned, shrugged, and muttered, "You've really lost it, man." And as they went downstairs, I heard him say to the boys, "Guess Uncle Martin doesn't like jokes." They laughed again, and Mom's voice followed with, "He's always been too serious." I didn't follow them out. I stayed there, staring at the pieces of Echo on the floor. The bent frame, the split mainboard, the cracked camera lens. Steven hadn't moved. I knelt beside him, but he wouldn't look up. When I finally heard the front door shut, I picked up what was left of the drone, one piece at a time. I didn't try to fix anything. I just laid it all out on the desk. The room smelled like melted plastic and dust. Steven finally whispered, "Why did they do that?" I didn't have an answer. That night, after I got him to bed, I sat alone in the workshop. The only light came from the desk lamp. The broken drone was laid out in front of me, parts scattered like evidence of something worse than just destruction. I wasn't sad. I wasn't even angry anymore. It felt like a switch had flipped somewhere deep inside me, and everything after that was just quiet. I turned off the lamp and sat there in the dark for a long time, staring at the outline of what used to be something beautiful we built together. That was the night I stopped letting them get away with it. That night, after they left, the house was too quiet. Steven had cried himself to sleep, and the workshop still smelled like burnt plastic. I sat there for a while, staring at the pieces of Echo on the desk, every cracked circuit and twisted wire. I'd fixed a lot of things in my life, but this one wasn't getting fixed. The longer I looked at it, the more I realized it wasn't about the drone. It was about everything that came before it. Years of being the family's emergency contact for every little issue. Router won't connect? Call Martin. Streaming account expired? Call Martin. Can't log into the thermostat app? Martin. I built their systems, wired their homes, paid for half of it, and somehow I was still the boring one. Every account, every smart lock, every router, they all ran through me. I didn't think much of it before. It just made things easier. If something broke, I could fix it remotely. I'd done it so often it had become habit. But that night, staring at those shattered parts, it hit me. I'd handed them control of my time, my effort, my patience, and they'd never respected it. No yelling this time, no lectures, no guilt trips, just clarity. I walked to my office, turned on my main system, and watched the monitors light up. Rows of status indicators blinked to life. Routers, smart devices, cloud accounts. The admin dashboard filled the center screen. Across the top it read, Client Systems, Hale/Row Family Network. 2 main nodes, Liam and Brooke, Row, Household and Parents, Hale, Household. Everything green, everything running perfectly. I sat there for a second, watching the little status lights blink like nothing had happened. Then I opened a text editor and started typing. Years of favors, 2018. Paid $900 for Liam's network upgrade. Never reimbursed. 2019. Set up security cameras for parents. 6 hours of work. 2020. Paid for replacement modem. Forgot to pay me back. 2021. Fixed Liam's crypto wallet recovery. Never even a thank you. 2023. Installed new smart lock. He called it my hobby. The list went on. Small things maybe, but they added up. Every moment where I let it slide. I didn't write it out for revenge. I wrote it to remind myself how much I'd given to people who never cared. When I was done, I scrolled to the bottom and typed a new line. Echo protocol. Step 1. Disconnect. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for a second. I opened the admin console again. It showed the full list of connected systems. Row household, Wi-Fi mesh network, smart locks, thermostat, security cameras, cloud backup streaming accounts, my parents' household, Wi-Fi router, smart thermostat, doorbell TV system, digital frames, security cameras, voice assistant, all of it under my control. I started with Liam's house, logged into the router interface, and changed the SSID name from row home to access denied. Then I changed the Wi-Fi password to a 30-character random string, queued remote configuration to disable after I was done, and locked out every device. Next were the streaming accounts. Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Disney, all registered under my recovery email. I reset each one, changed the passwords, and enabled two-factor authentication tied to my phone. Logged out every device associated with their IP address. I disabled their smart lock remote control feature, forcing manual key entry. I powered down the smart lighting hub. Without it, the bulbs default to off. I adjusted the thermostat schedule. 78 degrees Fahrenheit daytime, 60 degrees Fahrenheit at night. Not enough to damage anything, just enough to make life uncomfortable. Then I moved on to my parents' system, changed their TV app passwords, turned off the voice assistant, and disconnected their cloud photo frame. I disabled the doorbell's chime integration and push alerts, camera still on, no in-house ring, and forced the smart thermostat into eco mode with manual control only. I pushed a 1-pixel black image as the only local asset, so the frame shows nothing but black. Once the last remote tasks finished, I killed remote admin across both nodes. Each change took seconds. The screen filled with green indicators slowly turning red. Offline, offline, offline. No noise, no drama, just precision. When I finished, I sat back and looked at the screen. The two main nodes, Row Household and Hale Household, were gray. No connection, no access. I saved the document on my desktop. Echo protocol. I didn't smile, didn't feel triumphant. It wasn't about getting even, it was about balance. For once, they'd live a day the way I had lived years. Dealing with broken systems, no one answering their calls, no one fixing their problems. I took one last look at the screen. Across the dashboard, a message appeared briefly. Connection lost. Remote systems unreachable. I closed the laptop. The hum of the cooling fan faded. The house went silent again, but this time the quiet felt steady. 2 blocks over, at Liam's place, the lights flickered once, then went dark. I stood up, turned off the lamp, and went to bed. By the next morning, the messages started. The first was from Liam. Bro, internet's down. You touched something? Then, another 10 minutes later, Wi-Fi still out. Office server won't load. My whole setup's dead. An hour after that, a call. Then another. Then 5 more. I didn't answer any of them. I poured a cup of coffee and opened my laptop. Not to fix anything, but to start a new project with Steven. We were writing code for a new interface. Nothing fancy. Just something small to keep his focus away from what happened to Echo. He was calmer now. Focused. Asking questions again. That was all I needed. The phone kept buzzing. It didn't stop all morning. Liam's name. Mom's name. Even Brooke's. I let every one of them go to voicemail. Around noon, an email came through. From Elaine Hale. Subject. Something's wrong with the thermostat. Can you check it? It's freezing here and the doorbell doesn't ring anymore. I took another sip of coffee and scrolled past it. My inbox was filling up with their problems. Streaming accounts locked, login errors, security camera feeds gone. Every issue they dumped on me over the years had now landed back in their laps. Steven leaned over. You're not gonna fix it? No, I said. Not this time. He didn't ask again. Just went back to typing, humming quietly. By evening, Brooke's email arrived. Longer this time, all caps in the subject line. Subject. Urgent. I can't access my work account. Everything is disconnected. I can't even log into the cloud storage. Please, Martin, I'll lose my job if this keeps up. I typed one short reply. Ask your husband. Then I closed the window. Half an hour later, I heard tires screech outside. The door rattled with pounding. Martin, open the damn door! I didn't move right away. I finished saving the code Steven had been working on, told him to go to his room, and only then walked to the door. When I opened it, Liam stood there, red-faced, sweating, phone in one hand. What the hell did you do? He shouted. I leaned against the doorframe. Afternoon, Liam. My Wi-Fi's gone. My accounts are locked, and I can't get into my crypto wallet. Every login rejects me, and your stupid system says I don't have permission for my own network. You think this is funny? I never touched his wallet. I don't have his keys, and I don't need them. You broke what was mine, I said quietly. Now you're learning what it feels like to lose control. He blinked. Are you serious? You're actually doing this because of a drone? It wasn't just a drone. He stepped closer. You're gonna fix it, or I'm calling the cops. For what? Taking back my property? His jaw clenched. You're insane. No, I said. I'm done being used. He held up his phone. I'll tell Mom and Dad you're threatening me. They already called, I said. Their thermostat doesn't work. Neither does their doorbell. He stared at me like he couldn't process it. You shut them off too? They relied on me for everything. Now they get to manage it themselves. You think this makes you some kind of hero? He snapped. No, I said. It just means I finally stopped being your servant. Liam took a step forward, voice rising. You can't do this to me. I need that network. My clients. Your clients aren't my problem, I said. Everything I built for you, I own. Everything you use runs through me. You don't like that? Learn how to fix it yourself. For a moment, he looked like he might hit me. His hands balled into fists. Then he realized something. Maybe that anger wouldn't get him what he wanted. He stepped back, shaking his head. You've lost it, he said. You think this makes us even? You're destroying the family. The family destroyed itself, I said. I closed the door. He started pounding on it again. You'll regret this. You hear me? I didn't answer. I just locked it and walked back to the kitchen. Through the window, I saw him still shouting on the porch, pacing like a caged animal. Then he finally got in his SUV, slammed the door, and sped off. Stephen peeked around the corner. Was that Uncle Liam? Yeah, I said. He's having technical difficulties. Stephen tried not to smile. Like the kind Grandma always calls about? Exactly like that. He laughed quietly and went back to his room. I sat down at the table, refilled my coffee, and opened the terminal on my laptop. 2 nodes still gray on the admin dashboard. Liam and Brooke, row, household and parents, Hale, household. I stared at the screen for a few seconds, then closed it. No satisfaction, no anger, just quiet. Outside, the streetlights flickered on, one by one. Across town, at my parents' house, the lights stayed dark. Within a week, the fallout started to spread like cracks through glass. Liam's company website went offline first. He'd built it using the same cloud service I'd set up for him 2 years ago. Without access to my admin credentials, he couldn't even reach the backend. His online store redirected to a default error page. Then his email server crashed. He'd linked his work address to the same domain, and all his business messages vanished. His backups were on a shared drive, one he'd never maintained, even after I warned him about it. Every client contact, invoice, and sales record was gone. 2 days later, his investors started calling. They couldn't reach him, couldn't access reports, and their systems were rejecting his login attempts. One by one, they pulled out. The posts stopped coming on his social pages. The man who couldn't go 5 minutes without bragging suddenly had nothing to brag about. He still tried to spin it, claimed there was a server migration issue, claimed hackers hit him, but people around him knew something didn't add up. He had no IT guy, no support system, no clue what he was doing. Without me, he was just noise. Meanwhile, his twins, Colt and Nash, found new ways to keep the family name in trouble. The school called him after they spray-painted the gym doors with some dumb slogan about being untouchable. They got suspended for a week. When I heard about it, I wasn't even surprised. Those kids grew up learning from him. Loud, careless, thinking nothing had consequences. At my parents' house, it wasn't much better. Elaine and Frank were constantly at each other's throats. The smart thermostat kept switching to eco mode. The cameras wouldn't connect, and their streaming apps demanded new logins. Mom called me at least 6 times, each message angrier than the last. This isn't funny, Martin. Your father's freezing, and nothing in this house works. I didn't reply. She had decades of my time. She could figure out a few weeks on her own. While their lives tilted into chaos, mine became quieter. Stephen and I started rebuilding Echo. We called it Echo 2.0. This one wasn't just a rebuild. It was an upgrade. Stronger frame, reinforced propellers, smarter AI, new flight routines. We worked in sync. I handled the core coding. He handled assembly. He didn't talk much about what happened, just focused. And I let him. The hum of motors and clicking of tools replaced the noise of family drama. On the 10th day, I saw Liam's name trending locally online. He'd posted a long rant on Facebook, tagging me. The headline read, "My brother sabotaged my company." The post went on about how I was a control freak, how I'd cut off my family's access to their own property, and how I'd ruined his business out of jealousy. He attached screenshots of blank logins and error pages, claiming I hacked him. The comments came fast. Some people believed him at first, others didn't. He'd built a reputation for bragging, lying, and playing the victim. People started asking questions he couldn't answer. I read the whole thing twice, then left a single comment. Respect keeps systems running. You should try it. That was it. No insults, no explanations, just that one line. By the end of the day, my comment had 10 times more likes than his post. People screenshotted it, reposted it, turned it into a meme. Within 24 hours, Liam's credibility was gone. Old clients commented stories about him ghosting them or lying about payments. Others shared receipts proving his business had been collapsing for months. By week 2, he deleted his account. Mom tried calling again after that, but her voicemail sounded different, defeated, quiet. Dad didn't call at all. Through it all, I said nothing. I didn't gloat. I didn't reach out. I just kept working with Stephen. Every night, we made small progress. Echo 2.0's sensors were cleaner, its balance sharper. It responded to commands instantly, even in wind. One night, Stephen looked up from the desk and said, "It's better than the first one." I nodded. "Because we learned." He smiled, then tested the controls. The drone lifted smoothly, hovering in place. The LEDs glowed blue, steady and calm. No shaking, no hesitation. We watched it float there in silence for a few seconds, before he landed it perfectly on the table. "Guess it's ready," he said. "Yeah," I replied. "This one's not breaking." Stephen laughed. It wasn't just about the drone anymore. We both knew that. That night, after he went to bed, I checked the dashboard one last time. Both row and Hale systems still gray, still offline, still mine. I closed the laptop and leaned back. No noise from the phone, no new calls, No new emails. Just quiet. Every hum from Echo 2.0 in the workshop reminded me that peace doesn't come from giving people what they want. It comes from taking back what they never appreciated in the first place. 3 weeks passed before anyone from my family showed up again. It was a Sunday afternoon, quiet, the kind of day where the world finally feels like it stopped spinning. I was cleaning up the workshop when the doorbell rang. Through the front window, I saw Liam, Elaine, and Frank standing on the porch. They looked like people coming to a funeral. Awkward, stiff, not sure what to say. Liam was holding a bunch of flowers wrapped in plastic, half wilted from the heat. I opened the door and waited. Liam cleared his throat. "Can we talk?" I didn't say yes or no. Just stepped aside. 5 minutes. They walked in slowly. Mom put the flowers on the counter like a peace offering. Dad stayed behind her, hands in his pockets, eyes on the floor. The silence stretched. Stephen came down the hallway, stopping beside me. He didn't say anything either. Liam finally spoke. His voice was softer than I'd ever heard it. "I came to apologize to both of you." He looked straight at Stephen. "I messed up. What I did to your drone was wrong. I thought I was being funny, teaching you not to get attached to stuff. But the truth is, I was just jealous." Stephen's face didn't change. He just stared at him. Liam kept going. "You and your dad built something together. My kids don't listen to me. They don't respect me. And I took it out on you. That's on me. I can't take it back, but I'm sorry." Mom's voice came next. "We're all sorry, Martin. We shouldn't have laughed. We didn't realize how much that thing meant to Stephen. Or to you. We've relied on you for so long that we stopped treating you like family and started treating you like some kind of service line." She looked tired. Her usual sharpness was gone. "Dad still hadn't said a word. You should have realized sooner," I said. Mom nodded. "You're right." Liam stepped closer, still holding that defeated look. "When everything started falling apart, I blamed you at first. But now I get it. I built my whole life on people cleaning up after me. When you stopped, I finally saw what that looks like. It's ugly." "You learned something then," I said. "Yeah," he said quietly. "The hard way." Mom tried to smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Can we start over? I'm not asking for you to fix everything again. Just to talk. To have dinner like a normal family." I looked at her, then at Liam. "You all taught me something too," I said. "That being nice just makes people use you. So I learned to stop being nice." No one argued. They just stood there. "I'm not your tech support anymore," I continued. "No more passwords, no more system updates, no more emergency calls at midnight. If you need help, you pay someone. If you need my help, you pay me like anyone else. And if any of you ever disrespect me or Stephen again, I walk away for good. No warnings, no second chances." Liam nodded immediately. "Understood." Mom whispered, "That's fair." "I mean it," I said. "Boundaries aren't a threat. They're protection. I should have had them years ago." Liam shifted his weight, pulled an envelope from his jacket, and placed it on the table. "This covers the cost for the new drone. Every part. Plus extra. My boys will come here next weekend to apologize in person. No cameras, no jokes." Stephen finally spoke. "They better mean it." "They do," Liam said. "They've had a rough few weeks. Lost a lot of privileges." Dad finally looked up. "You were right, son. We all depended on you too much." I nodded. "Then stop." That was the end of it. No hugs, no fake promises. They thanked Stephen for hearing them out, said goodbye, and left. The sound of their car driving away was the best noise I'd heard in years. That night, Stephen and I were back in the workshop. Echo 2.0 hovered in front of us, perfectly balanced. The blue LEDs pulsing like a heartbeat. The air hummed softly. Stephen leaned back in his chair, watching it hover. "It's better than the first one," he said. "Because we built it smarter," I told him. He grinned. "And stronger. We let it float there a minute before he powered it down." He carried it to his desk, placed it gently in the center, and turned off the light. The glow from its LEDs filled the room like a quiet promise. When he went to bed, I sat at my laptop. The old admin dashboard was still open. Liam and Brooke, row, household and parents, Hale, household. Both gray, offline. I scrolled through the settings, hovered over the last control that still gave me any kind of power over them, and clicked Delete Admin Privileges. Confirmation popped up. "Are you sure you want to remove all remote access?" I clicked yes. Then I opened the file I'd kept since the night it all started, echo_protocol.txt. At the bottom, under the list of steps and notes, I typed one last line. Echo protocol, complete. I saved it and shut the laptop. Upstairs, the new drone's light still pulsed in slow rhythm. The sound was steady, almost like breathing. The house was finally quiet. Not empty, just peaceful. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like someone's backup plan. I didn't feel guilty for choosing peace over people who never chose me. That night, I sat in the dark and realized something simple. Peace doesn't come from forgiveness. It comes from freedom, the kind you build yourself, one boundary at a time.